All right. Apparently, there's been some news about Black Ops 6 or so. I don't know what the news. Apparently, it's not good news. Apparently for Black Ops 6, but Lord and behold, who is ever surprised that Black Ops 6 is that Black Ops 6 is not that's not doing good news. Am I shocked? Am I surprised? No. I watched. You did. Is it
All right,
really
what's
that
going on,
bad?
everybody? Welcome
Can you
back
tell me? Can you tell me? Is it really that bad or so for some of the news?
to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty because, as I'm sure many of you know, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is right around the corner. I think
He's
it's
not
supposed to
wrong,
release in
really.
like the next 2 weeks. And I'm sure a lot of people are excited for the new Call of Duty game. Honestly, I thought I was going to end up being excited for the new Call of
It
Duty
might be
game.
the end for
If you've been
COD.
watching me for a little
Really? Really?
while
Interesting.
here on the channel, you may know that during this last Call of Duty cycle, I think this is what, Modern Warfare 3 right now, I actually ended up pretty much skipping out entirely on this COD. I didn't buy it at release. I didn't play the game at release. In fact, the only time I ever
Or the end of us for OG players. Oh, shit. Well, granted, I stopped playing a long time ago, so,
actually played the game is when my friends convinced me to download it and try it through Xbox Game Pass, which I guess gives you access to the full game, and you could just play it or whatever. So I played like 3 or 4 matches of it before I never played it again. And then the whole marketing cycle for this new Call of Duty Black Ops 6 game, it started rolling out as it traditionally does earlier this year. And, I thought because, oh, it's a Treyarch game, they're the best studio in the Call of Duty developer scene, I figured, maybe I could get into this COD, right? Maybe I could be hooked
yeah.
by the magics and the wonder that Treyarch does, right?
Yeah, because, like, Treyarch makes really good fucking COD games in the past, but as of recently or so, ever since they switched over to the new engine, and also makes everybody use the same engine, it just feels like it's the same game. Like, they all don't have style to them. Like for some of the older CODs or so, like each one had their own different style when it came to the games themselves, but now it's just they're kind of like blurring the lines together, and it just feels like I'm just playing Modern Warfare 1, or with like tiny little bit tweaks in here and there, and that's about it.
But unfortunately, it doesn't really seem to be the case. And I've been thinking about that. I'm like, why is it this year that I really just don't give a fuck about Call of Duty's release, Because, I mean, 5 years ago, I would have already had the game pre-ordered. I would be literally counting the fucking days down for the next Call of Duty game, right? I mean, I used to use it for my gameplay. I don't want to say exclusively, but damn near exclusively. And at one
Yeah.
point, like, I literally did Call of Duty content. Like, I was like, man, am I really going to be able to get back into that for this new COD or whatever? And then I realized that no, I'm not going to be able to do that. And sure, I know that a lot of people still like COD and they're still ready for their game or whatever. More power to you, I guess, right? If you're really waiting on it or whatever. But I wanted to make this video and just talk about some like observations that I've been slowly coming to realize, right? Like, holy shit, this is actually where we are in the Call of Duty timeline or whatever, right? I'm kind of at the point where I'm halfway convinced that the executives at Activision Blizzard, who oversee all the decision making for Call of Duty, the people who are doing like the narrative direction for Call of Duty and shit, I'm just convinced at this point that they actually hate us. They don't give a fuck about the fans. They don't care about the product. They don't care how you feel about, one of your favorite gaming franchises. And it's kind of sad. So let me go ahead and talk about it and explain it. So obviously you see the title of this video, Call of Duty hates its own community.
Of
And
course they
I
do.
honestly think that's the case now. So before I get into this, I'm just going to say, do I think that every developer at Treyarch or Infinity Ward or whatever, do I think everybody involved in Call of Duty is exactly this way? No, I don't think that. I'm sure that there's a lot of people on these staffs, right, at these fucking developer studios that really want to work on Call of Duty and they really want to make the best game possible. I'm sure that a lot of the things that I'm about to complain about come from the higher ups in management, they come from the corporate ladder and shit. Maybe they're not even people who play video games in the first place, right? Maybe they're literally just some old fat cat in his fucking suit and tie that shows up to the office to ruin your favorite media every day. But even if that is the case, it doesn't nullify what I'm about to say, okay? It doesn't really take away from it. And that's because even if there are passionate, caring people who work in the Call of Duty community, they're being completely overridden by assholes that have ruined it. You know, they've ruined this fucking franchise. I mean, there used to be a time where you could like actually look forward to COD on a yearly basis.
Of course.
Think, wow, another excellent first-person shooter is about to get offered up. But that is really no longer the case. So, for instance, the other day, I saw a tweet come out, right, that said that Activision Blizzard announced that they had seen, like, I think it was a 60 or a 65% drop in toxic game chat abuse by players in Call of Duty since they rolled out their new moderation features, right? Now, you might be like, oh, Optimus, why is this even a complaint? You think it's a good thing when people are being dicks in the game chat? Well, I'm not saying that it's awesome that, you know, back in the day, you couldn't turn on the fucking speakers in your house because you didn't want to hear, you know, your mom to hear people spamming the N-word in Call of Duty chats and shit, right? But what I am saying is that the magic of what Call of Duty actually was and all the things that made it a really fun video game have just slowly been drained out. And they've been replaced with this corporatized, sanitized product that
they're trying, like, honestly, them trying to fucking, like, censor, like, the toxicness or so in Call of Duty it's dumb, in my personal opinion. I really do generally think it's dumb because you want to know something? The toxicity of Call of Duty has been there for, like, forever. It's been there forever, you know? It's been there for, it's like the core part of Call of Duty. It's not Call of Duty if you can't shit talk to somebody, you know? It's literally not Call of Duty. It's honestly not, you know? There's a reason why there's the mute button and then there's the block button. There's a reason why that shit is invented. So you can mute the person, you can block the person if you don't want to hear that shit anymore, you know? But when you're going into a public, you know, this is a public lobby with people that are randoms, expect the fucking most, like, wildest takes you'll ever hear in your entire life. You know, that's why the OG Call of Duties will always be better, because you can do stuff like this, you know? You can't do it in the, like, barely anybody talks in the game now because of this stupid moderation shit that they implemented in the game, you know? Like, that's what literally kills, you know, to be friends with somebody in the game, you know? Like, honestly, trash talking always led to being good friends with somebody, you know?
Truthfully just spits in the face of the legacy of its own collection. It spits in the face of longtime fans, and it makes the games less engaging and less fun to play. So back in the day, you know, you'd hop into a search and destroy lobby even 10 years ago, right? I'm not even talking about OG MW2. 10 years ago, you could hop on Call of Duty and you could, you know, not be in a game party or like a party chat or Discord or anything. And like, let's say there was 12 people. 9, maybe 10 of them would have their microphones turned on. You could actually like chat with people, albeit a lot of the times, you know, you got called slurs or got called names, but you could actually, you know, like play with people online and you could communicate as a team and you could like actually meet new people that you became friends with and play. Like, I had dozens of people that I met through Call of Duty back on PlayStation 3 when we were kids, where we used to play, we used to have fun, right? But those days are gone. If you get into a Call of Duty lobby the same way today, there will be no noise being made whatsoever.
It's so
Unless
dumb.
Maybe one person in the lobby has their microphone on. And that's because everybody is sitting in party chat or they're sitting in a Discord call with their buddies. Well, why are they doing that? Well, because you literally can't chat in Call of Duty anymore, because they've introduced these AI features that automatically, you know, determine if you're using explicit language, you know, just stupid shit. If you basically swear at all at this point in Call of Duty, you're legitimately risking a ban, which is insane, you know, because, I mean, once again, we're playing a fucking video game. We're playing a video game. This is pixels on a screen. You know, there's already been muting and blocking features and shit like that for decades at this point, right? In multiplayer gaming. But for whatever reason, you know, Call of Duty is happy and giddy to let you know that they basically have muted like 70% of the fucking game chat out because they're too afraid somebody might say fuck. Or they're too afraid somebody might say retard. Or they're too afraid that somebody might say asshole. It's just insane. We're playing a video game about dropping nukes on people and killing them and fucking committing war crimes. There's executions where you can beat injured players to death with the barrel of your gun and shit. But heaven forbid if you say, hey teammate, you're a fucking idiot. Pick your gun up, stupid. Because if you do that, you're comm banned. Well, not only that, too, right? They've ruined the community features of Call of Duty, so playing the game with people online is basically forced to be muted or you can't have fun at all. Then on top of that, you know, the actual storylines of Call of Duty have just been completely rewritten and washed over. All these iconic characters that you loved and you cared about, they're nothing but marketing props anymore. That's the legitimate truth. I mean, remember when Soap died back in the day in Modern Warfare and how gutted people felt when they saw that happen in the campaign? Oh, don't worry, because character deaths literally don't matter in Call of Duty anymore. If a character dies in the campaign, you know, it actually literally doesn't fucking matter, and the important moment that's supposed to be in the storyline literally is discounted because within the next Call of Duty game or the next season, when they need a character for the battle pass or whatever, they're gonna bring them right back and canonically make them alive again. I mean, Call of Duty has gotten to the point in its like narration and in its storylines that it's essentially just fucking Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? Like a character dies and you're like, oh no, my favorite character is gone. Oh no, it's okay. Well, they wished him back with the Call of Duty balls, man. Activision Blizzard have 7 balls in their fucking headquarters up at the studio, basically, right? And they just bring back any character. And they, you know, hey, by the way, you can buy him again. You know, you can buy him for $19.99. Your character didn't actually die. So at this point, you know, that, like, for me, I know a lot of people don't care about campaign, but for me, that was one of the big draws, right?
Yeah.
It was like Call of Duty campaigns. But they're basically fucking pointless now because any eventful thing that can happen in them is immediately overwashed by marketing. And I think that this plays into the issue of a lack of originality, right? Like Call of Duty, I think it's been plaguing this franchise for too long, right? Where for whatever reason, they can't just make new cool shit. I don't know what that is. There's no new cool concepts in Call of Duty anymore. It's either them trying to like shamelessly rip off another competitor game, or they're bringing back the same map for the 19th Call of Duty game straight because they can't really make any new good maps that people hold to the same standard as they do Firing Range or Nuketown or Rust or whatever. It's kind of sad because, like I said, back in the day, every single year Call of Duty would come out with something new and fresh and exciting, and even if it was like a sequel to a previous game like Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2, they did something new and cool and they built upon the last game in a really awesome way. Now it just feels like every COD that comes out is their attempt at like rewriting the coolness of the games before that you liked. They're just trying to market you new products and sell you new shit. And it feels like that's all that Call of Duty really is anymore. Like I played the Black Ops 6 beta and like I was expecting like, you know, it not to be perfect or for it to even be great for that instance, right? But really, I just wanted it to be playable and feel like a nice Call of Duty experience, you know, something maybe I could hop on a couple games a day or something with my buddies and we could just play like we did in the good old days, right? But unfortunately, like, I don't think the game was horrible, the beta at least. I don't think it was completely bad. There were some upsides, but it just felt so generic and it felt so fucking soulless to me. And it made
really
me realize,
did.
like, this is nothing like how Call of Duty used to be. Now, this obviously isn't the first time that I've thought this about COD, but, like, it really sank home. Like, even at launch now, they're not even trying to make this feel like COD anymore. They're not even trying to draw you in. The skill-based matchmaking was through the fucking roof. I mean, you could play, like, one game, and if you're an average player, every game that you play after getting that 18 and 15 scorecard the last game, guess what? You're playing full stacks of kids who think that they're going to be playing fucking professional Call of Duty next week, right?
And even then, on top of that, right, most of these people are not even that good at the game because you want to know something? I bet you most of them uses that fucking stupid Cronus Zen thing, you know? It fucking sold, like, what, more than 400,000 of those units or so? Because, like, 400,000, at least, like, more than 400,000, like, of those specific units or so that has been sold. So, yeah, even then at the end of the day, right, it's like, it's the tech that's also incorporated that Activision still hasn't gotten rid of fucking Cronus Zen at this point, you know? That shit needs to die, in my personal opinion. That shit needs to be burned into, like, the bottom pits of hell and never come out ever again, to be honest. Because honestly, that shit literally ruins FPS games on top of that, you know, because everyone is trying to sweat their fucking balls off to be the next fucking MLG player, you know? It's like, really, dude? Like, honestly?
And that's just all it is now. It's basically an excuse by Activision to get you online. They're like, oh, we have this new Call of Duty game. You should hop on this. And I think that they've realized that people like me aren't falling for it anymore, right? Like, I didn't buy Modern Warfare 3 last year, but now they've added Call of Duty to Game Pass, so people like me can at least play the game for free, right? You could just fucking download it, essentially. I think they've realized that over time, like, hey, you know, people are starting to get drawn off of this shit. And so now that it's like basically a free-to-play game, and if you have Game Pass at least, it's like a free-to-play game. I think now that's kind of their way forward. They think that's what's going to reinvigorate everything. But really, for me, I think it's pulling me even further away, because even though I can just easily access COD without paying for it, everything about it is just so soulless and unoriginal now. It really just feels like it's a fucking digital world where the primary product isn't actually the gameplay. It's not actually playing the game and enjoying the game for what it is. The product is not grinding COD with your friends like you used to get the camo masteries and stuff like that. It's almost like it's an online digital storefront now, right? Where, yeah, we have a game, but it's a game that's beside the products, right? It's like Call of Duty now is, yeah, you can hop on and play 5 matches with your buddies before you're inevitably pissed the fuck off, banned because you said shut the fuck up to somebody yelling or something like that. Yeah, we can get you on for stuff like that, but ultimately what they're really trying to do now is just sell you content. They want you buying battle passes. They want you buying operator skins.
I don't buy
and
any of those
bundles.
stuff,
That's
to be
all
honest.
it is. It's an online game where, yeah, you can play with the mechanics, you can have fun on the maps, but hey, you're not getting the full Call of Duty experience unless you're buying skins and unless you're giving Activision $700 instead of $70, right? It just, I don't know. It's sad to see and it's sad to say, but like that community around Call of Duty that, like I said, was there every single day at release, ready to grind, you know, ready to fucking get home from school and whatnot and fucking play the game. Those people have been pushed completely by the wayside by Call of Duty very progressively over several years now. And the product that they grew up loving and they grew up playing and enjoying with their friends has been sanitized to a ridiculous level. It's been corporatized to a ridiculous level. The fun elements of it have been completely wiped off of the game, right? They don't want you doing any of that shit. Stacking up with your buddies and search and destroy and shit-talking the enemies after you guys get a close win or something. We can't have any of that anymore. Loading up the game after school, turning your brain off and just enjoying the video game for a couple of hours, you don't do that anymore. You need to be focused up. You need to be trying your hardest in casual loads. That's what I really don't get. I mean, you can't even play just casually in Call of Duty anymore. Unless you're like a 45-year-old dad.
You really can't, because it's all about the meta and everything. Like, what's the best gun for the meta? And you know, there's a lot of amalgamations too. That's like kind of like is part of the ecosystem for Call of Duty that I kind of like brought the downfall or everything like that. Sometimes there's like a small percentage that I do blame some creators or so that just makes the metal or so, right? The meta be like, oh, this is the best assault rifle. You know, you gotta use this best assault rifle. Or if you try to use any other weapon or so, you know, you're not gonna do well, you know. But like back then or so, everybody used everything. I see LMGs, I see SMGs, I see assault rifles, I see sniper rifles. Now most of the time it's like, if you aren't using the meta weapon, you're kind of basically on a big disadvantage, you know. I don't know, dude. They don't prioritize fun anymore, you know. Make everything just overpowered, you know. Make the LMGs overpowered, make the SMGs overpowered. That's why for me, like the most recent COD games with the SMGs, dude, they feel so fucking weak compared to the older Call of Duties. Like, holy shit, dude. The SMGs back then were fucking built different, you know.
Who's playing on a flat screen TV and just like literally doesn't give a fuck about video games at all, is just doing it after he gets off work for 30 minutes. That's what Call of Duty is meant for now, because those people, they're not passionate about the franchise. They don't care what direction the franchise goes in. They don't care about the storylines. They don't care about the history. They have disposable income to dump on fucking $20 bundles and shit like that. It's just kind of where Call of Duty is. It's a glorified shopping mall where, yeah, you get to play with the fun, cool toys, you know, kind of like your little brother back in the day when you give him an unplugged controller. Like, yeah, you're part of the game too. But in reality, reality, the whole point of getting you on now is to sell you something. It's to sell you this idea that, oh, you remember how nostalgic Call of Duty was? You know, you remember all that fun you used to have? Well, we're bringing Nuketown back at launch. Don't you like Nuketown? Yeah, I really do like Nuketown. It's a great map, but is Treyarch gonna make a new classic map anytime soon? I mean, the last, like, really great original Treyarch map I really remember was, like, BO3, you know, Combine and Fringe, and maps like that. That was literally almost a decade ago at this point, by the way. And, you know, I feel like for years, people like me have been saying, oh, I just wish Call of Duty would go back to what it was.
Bat.
I wish we could just go back to the fun days, right? Well, now we're just at the point where the executives overlooking Call of Duty realize that that's what people want, so they just keep selling this nostalgia bit. And I don't see it ever getting any better, unfortunately. Like, I'm almost certain I will download BO6 at some point throughout its life cycle, right? I'll play my complimentary 3 matches that you're allowed to play the game before it just turns into a complete fucking sweat fest trying to sell you products at every turn. And then I'll just delete the game like I did with Modern Warfare 3, because that's kind of the truthfully the Call of Duty cycle now, at least for me. It's no longer, oh, I get to play Treyarch's COD for the whole year and then Infinity Ward's following up with a fucking banger. Now it's
Yeah, I don't even play COD for an entire year anymore. I don't even play it for a week, to be honest. I even said, like, oh, we're gonna play this for a week. I play it for like one stream or so, and I just don't want to continue playing it anymore. Cause I'm just like, fuck, dude, this feels like ass, to be honest. It really fucking does. If you go back and play the older ones, they just feel so fun. Even like the single player campaign for the old Call of Duties, oh, dude, they're just so fun. Black Ops 2, we just recently played Black Ops 2, and my god, that shit is my baby, dude. Black Ops 2 is my child, dude, and I fucking will cradle that thing, and I love that fucking game. That game is just so fucking fun. And then Black Ops 3 is my second favorite child, to be honest. But man, dude, it just doesn't feel the same. It really fucking doesn't.
oh, Treyarch's dropping the 6th Black Ops game? Okay. I wonder if they're going to bring back Nuketown. Oh, yeah, that's coming back at launch. Okay. Well, I wonder if Woods is going to die. Oh, he's not going to die. Oh, even if, you know, Woods dies or Mason dies or any character dies, well, you know, they'll bring him back canonically. Season 2, you know, when they need him to come back for the cutscene, he'll suddenly be alive, even though he took a 50 cal through his fucking face. You know, somehow he made it. Once again, the Dragon Balls brought him back to life. I don't know. I might sound like a boomer or like an old head or something, sure, but this is just kind of where I am with Call of Duty, man. Like, I'm honestly just kind of surprised that even when a Treyarch game is coming out at this point, I'm not like, wow, I really want to get on and play that. Well, that's what happens when you turn Call of Duty once again into a glorified shopping mall. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about the next Call of Duty game and signing out. And that's a
Yeah. He's right. Like 100% right. Ever since they brought this stupid AI tech or so for them to, like, try to basically censor, they literally try to censor their fan base when they've literally been there for such a long time, you know? The toxicity isn't basically in every fucking game. And if you're trying to get rid of that, you're alienating, like, part of the community that has been there from the start. And honestly, it's terrible. It's honestly terrible, you know? It's just bad overall, and it's not really worth it, you know? To be honest, it's not the same anymore. Like, I know for a fact that Call of Duty is not the same anymore. It's never been the same, and it'll never be the same. You know, all of the old devs or so from back in the past, like 10 years ago or so, are gone, you know? There's only like a few stragglers left, you know? But then they've been overrun by this weird new team or so that literally has no idea what made Call of Duty great or what made Call of Duty good, you know? These people don't know. They really don't know. Honestly, they generally don't know. It's just ridiculous, you know? Every time they say it's like, oh yeah, we're trying to create new iconic characters, and that people will love and everything, and it's just like, or like I remember there's like a dev interview that they had or so, something about like iconic characters and shit like that. It's just like, bro, we have iconic characters. It's fucking soap, fucking Captain Price, Makarov, all these other people, these are iconic fucking characters, Mason, Woods. I'm like, goddamn, dude. Like, seriously. I just, I don't know. Like I said, I already knew that Call of Duty was already dead a long time ago. Ever since they swapped over to this new engine. The moment I played that Call of Duty or so that had the new engine in it, I just didn't like it whatsoever. I was just like, this is not Call of Duty. I don't know what the fuck this is, but this is not Call of Duty. But yeah, Call of Duty would never be the same, to be honest. Yeah, it's so dumb because Call of Duty is a rated M game, unless recently the recent CODs or so has been rated T for teens, but it's a rated M game which is 18 plus and mature, and you're trying to freaking, silence people who are adults that can pay their own bills. They probably have their own place, pay their car insurance, pay whatever, and you're trying to tell them you can't cuss in this game because you're a child to us. It's stupid. It's honestly just generally stupid. Honestly, that's the only reason why Call of Duty is just not what it used to be. You can't even trash talk in a game. It's terrible. Like, honestly, like, even when I play the most recent one or so, you rarely see anybody who's talking in chat. I've yet to like, a lot of the games that I played on that one stream or so, there was like at least like maybe one, maybe two, matches that had like one person speaking in it, but that's about it, and everyone else is just not really talking, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, well, that's the end of the video. Like I said, you can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff, and I'll still play it. I'm gonna try it out. Because it is free on the Xbox Game Pass. Why the fuck wouldn't I? And at the end of the day, right? If it's shit, and it's not fun or anything like that, I'm just not gonna play it. I'm just gonna uninstall it, and then I'm just gonna move on and play something else, and that's it. Fragpunk has been piquing my interest. Shrednova has been piquing my interest. The new battle royale anime game has also interested me too. I've pretty much moved on almost entirely to these new FPS games that are just way better than Call of Duty. They're a lot more funner. They don't take themselves too serious, and they prioritize fun over the weird balance, competitiveness, censoring type of shit. But yeah, that's it. I just kind of wanted to take a look at this specifically, and yeah, that's the end of the video. And peace.